Well, guess who's back? It's John Poveromo. John, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate being here.
So tell me about the Guinness World Book Record for the longest live streamed comedy event. And you did it for a charity. Tell me about that.
So we just got done doing a world record breaking comedy show for charity. It's the longest streaming comedy event. And we did it on Twitch. I think it clocked in at 90 hours.
Oh my God.
We were going for 86 because the record before that was 80.5, I think. And then we were like, oh, we can beat that. and then we blew it out of the water because by the point where like we got to where it's ending, we were so overtired and exhausted anyway. And people were jumping in just to congratulate us. We were like, keep going.
So I saw a list of names. I mean, along with you, we had John Fugelsang, Judy Gold, like all these different people. Tell me a little bit about, from your side of the table, who was involved and what you got to see.
There was there was, I think, over 250 comedians that were involved total, which was, I mean, the scale of it was just crazy. So we only had a week and a half really to put this thing together because we wanted to. Our producer, Tom Bannis, is the one who he was doing live events. So he started this network basically for all of us on Twitch called Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. And since I think I think they've been doing it a little bit longer. And then around Thanksgiving, we started to incorporate other comedians and their podcasts onto this one network and then trying to branch it off to build something because comedians aren't really on Twitch right now. And it's kind of an untapped market. So his idea was to get all these established comics and kind of build from there. But he's a live events coordinator. So he had contact with these charities and, charities can't do live events. Comedians can't do live events. So he thought to combine them together. So we wound up doing a charity for the Children's Tumor Foundation and Star Treatments, which is incredible because Star Treatments, I don't know if you've ever heard of it before. They wind up taking sick kids to their treatment centers, no matter where they are. But they do it like they're rock stars. So they get a tour bus, candy, movies, whatever they want, just treating them like they're amazing. All the kind of stuff you may forget about when you're kind of taking a sick kid, you know what I mean? Like You're just concerned about that. So amazing organizations. And then, so we had a week and a half only because we wanted to break the world record too. Yeah. And when you file for Guinness, they're like, all right, but clock's ticking.
Right. Yeah.
So we were like, oh, so we should do this now then. And then we wound up calling, I mean, between me and the other two comics on the show, we just know a lot of people. It was incredible because the response I got was yes, absolutely. And then also just pure joy for being able to see everybody because we haven't seen each other. Nobody's been in the clubs,
right.
And it wound up being this huge, like backstage hang from the 22nd to the 25th. It was incredible.
Comics, you in particular, have been challenged by the pandemic and, you love to write and practice your craft on a stage in front of a live audience. And now you're behind a screen. Tell me your insights, your 2 cents about what that's been like.
I'm looking like Richard Lewis Light. Look at me. I'm all dressed in black and
he couldn't grow the facial hair though. Lewis could.
No, he couldn't. Yeah, no, he couldn't. That's the one thing I got on him. Yeah, it was, we have been challenged by it. And I think it's been like 11 months or maybe a little even more now at this point. It's crazy. And we were hit hard by it, not only financially, but just mentally, because we need that feedback. I mean, we like being on the road. We like interacting with strangers and telling jokes and being in front of our friends. So that wasn't something that we initially thought of when we started this, because we were like, oh, it'll be fun. Everybody will do some time. But as it went on, like it wound up being this huge cathartic thing that like even people that were coming on because they had a link to the stream, they were coming back. And they were checking in on us at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and staying for the whole thing. And we kept getting messages afterward. We're like, you have no idea how much I needed this. You have no idea like how great I feel after just seeing there were people just there to hang out after, they'd done their stuff. They had told all these stories, but they were just like, I just want to see people I haven't seen in a while.
And the length of it, people can split, they can come back, check in on it again, and you guys just kept going.
Yeah, we did. And that was between there were a few of us that were hosting. So the original people on the network on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling on Twitch. It's me, Mark Riccadonna, Richie Byrne, Tom Bannis, our producer, Justin Gonzalez, Jason Pollock, Vinny Nardiello, and James Oakes.
Yep.
And then between all of us, we kind of rotated in and out and hosted. Some of us got more time, just to host because we had the free time. I got nothing to do. So I was hosting. I was pretty much on there as much as I could possibly be. And you wanted to be there for people that you booked too, just so they understood coming into it what it was. But it was a well-oiled machine by the time a couple days in, and we were just like, oh, we're just gonna never sleep. Because I would stay up because I didn't want to miss anybody. There was a point in time I stayed up 24 hours straight at one point.
Whoa.
And not continuously on the, there was a couple hours I took off the stream, but of course not to sleep because I was still contacting people. And I made all the flyers and stuff for it, and this giant poster with all these comedians on it. And that was another fun thing to try to put together, to squeeze everybody we had on there. Because I was like, oh, this person's coming on next. Oh, you're telling me this person's on next? I just didn't want to miss anything.
Sure.
So it was hard to try to sleep during that.
As I wrap up, I wanted to ask you about this. You're not just a guy that runs out there on the floorboards and cracks a bunch of jokes. You have a theme. Look at what you're doing with this for the Children's Brain Tumor Foundation and STAR treatments. You're raising awareness. You're literally raising money. You're breaking a world record while doing it. But you also had your project Dup It, which shined a light on mental illness and mental health. And I wanted to ask you, why is that important to you, that there's this extra angle, the extra meaning?
For me, I love the idea of taking an hour, and a half of somebody's time and going, hey, you don't have to think about anything that stresses you out. We're going to talk about horrible and make fun of it and make light of it. And you're just going to have an escape. So that's kind of what it is for me. And that's also what it was like doing Dup It. I was hoping people would resonate with, my experience with being depressed and stuff. And, kind of getting the idea that communication is key, because that's what Dup It's about. It's about going look, depression makes you feel isolated. It specifically targets your brain so that you feel alone. And this is a way to go, you're not alone. Everybody has this thing, everybody has a Dup It, whether it's anxiety, depression, stress, whatever it is, we're all human. We all deal with something like that.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the true joy of this, if I can take my talent and put it towards something like the Children's Cancer Foundation or any kind of charity, that's the best part of it to me.
Well, I tell you, John Poveromo back in the saddle here with us at TAPintoTV, and you're welcome here anytime. I love speaking with you. We will keep a close eye on you and all the cool stuff you're up to, John.
Thanks so much, man. I love talking to you and I love coming on. So whenever you need me, I'm here.